So if the Ferris wheel is going in a circle, right, as soon as I step off of it, it's 15 degrees, like 1 inch off the ground.
How high is a gyroscope? How high is a gyroscope when they do that test?
If you stay over the same point, that was what we just said, then your degrees per hour stays the same. If you're rotating over the same point, regardless of your altitude. Now, the difference is if you move up off of the, Earth or the merry-go-round or whatever example you use, you will slowly lose some of your angular momentum and it will slowly change. But if you keep your rotation the same and stay above the same point, it will continue to be 15 degrees an hour indefinitely.
Which is it? Are you saying it does lose its angular momentum that it's retained? Or it stays over the same spot? Which one is it? It can't be both.
Well, he's
if
using
you're in a helicopter, you can choose to stay in the same spot. If you're in unpowered flight, then you do slowly lose your angular momentum.
Slowly lose your angular momentum. And how is this a globe proof?
I was explaining to him. I don't know. I'm not going to. Whether it's a globe proof or not, I don't know. I didn't think that far ahead of it.
Okay. Well, the globe claims that there's Coriolis effect, though.
Okay. And?
But that's an item leaving the non-inertial reference frame and appearing to drift when it moves through the inertial reference frame. So you're explaining how these things don't drift, right? How they can stay moving at 15 degrees an hour even though they're basically stationary above the same spot. Well, that's something not drifting, isn't it? But the globe claims it will drift.
He said if it's not a machine, so like whoever the guy did the Red Bull jump, right? He's not a machine, so he should have drifted.
No.
And then left.
No. The guy doesn't. No. The guy doesn't drift. You, if the Earth was turning, would observe him to drift from the ground, because Earth's turning beneath him. So the drift is something you would observe. So while you're describing Extremis, the helicopter going up and staying above the same spot, so the guy who's underneath the helicopter watches the helicopter go up and not drift as the globe claims it will, right?
So can that helicopter, it can choose to stay in the same position if it
Try
wants,
once more,
right?
Extremis. Yeah, the drift isn't anything to do with the helicopter's motion. It's you observing it from the ground. So it doesn't matter what the helicopter chooses to do. Drift is you turning beneath it. You observing it as you turn beneath it. So you keep detailing what the helicopter does, but
No,
Coriolis
it does
effect...
matter because...
Go on.
Okay.
No, go on.
If there is Coriolis, then the helicopter can choose to compensate for it. If it exists, the helicopter can choose to overcome it.
That's incorrect. The reason it's incorrect because Coriolis effect can only be observed as you turn beneath the thing you're watching. So suggesting that the item can choose to correct... No. Coriolis is something you will observe as you turn beneath that item. But to observe it, you've got to turn beneath it. And I'm saying you're explaining how something goes up and wouldn't be observed to drift as the globe claims it will. Globe claims Coriolis effect. That isn't something that the projectile's going to account for. It can't. Like the pilot and Wolfie found out. And Danny Faulkner's about to find out when this gets published. The video I just made, not this. But my point is, you can't account for Coriolis in the projectile. Projectile moves straight, you see it seem to drift. Well, what's it going to account for? If it's moving straight and you're seeing it seem to not move straight because you rotate beneath it, that's only observable if you rotate beneath it. So the projectile helicopter accounting for Coriolis effect, that's wrong.
You guys are talking about two different things that what he was trying to answer was somebody asked, why doesn't the rate of rotation change with altitude? And he was using the helicopter as an example. If the helicopter was to go up and hover over the same point on the Earth, it's still going to make a full rotation in the same 24 hours that Los Angeles is if it's hovering above it.
So
You guys are
I
talking
understood
about two
that.
different things.
I understood that, and I asked, how does this prove a sphere Earth?
He said it didn't.
It doesn't. Yeah, so what you're doing is actually contradicting what the globe claims. That's my point. You're anti-flat earthers, because the globe doesn't claim that items go up and stay above the position that they are. Quite the contrary. Assisted by Earth's rotation, says Neil deGrasse Tyson. That's Earth turning beneath a football. But you're contradicting that. You're going against what the globe claims. I just wanted to point that out to you.
Well, again, I'm not Neil deGrasse Tyson, so I don't know what he said. I'd be happy to look at it if you can link it and see.
He claims Coriolis effect. Are you unfamiliar that the globe claims Coriolis effect?
Yes,
It's a fairly
I'm
well
not
known.
familiar with that at all.
It's fairly well known by the globe. Yet you're contradicting that claim. I say it a third time. That's you turning beneath stuff to see it drift. That's what Coriolis is. And you're talking about how stuff goes up and stays above the same position. That's contradicting what the globe claims. Third time I've said it.
Yeah. Okay, I understand what you're saying. Now let me ask you a question.
Why?
What about? Well, because I'm trying to understand what you're saying a little better.
I'm not. The globe's saying it. I'm not. I'm pointing out that you're contradicting what the globe claims. You're going against heliocentric claims of drift, Earth turning beneath stuff. That's Coriolis effect. You were also talking about Coriolis effect and how projectiles, in the case of extremis, are going to correct for it. And I wanted to make sure he understands how wrong he is. Because he is wrong. Coriolis cannot be accounted for in projectiles. It can only be observed as you turn beneath things. But to observe it, as the globe claims we will, you've got to turn beneath things. Not talk about how we don't turn beneath them, like hovering helicopters. You understand how you're going against what the globe claims. I'm not going to be answering anything. I'm just correcting you guys who are defying what the globe claims, making that clear to you. So the next question is, don't you guys believe you live on a globe? Clearly not, because you're going against what the globe claims.
No, I quite believe we live on a globe.
Why are you going against what the globe claims then?
That's your claim.
No, you've described something going up and remaining above the position that it's at. That's definitely not you turning beneath it, which is the only way to observe Coriolis effect. So absolutely without question, you are going against the globe rhetoric. That's a fact. Not my claim, that's a fact. I've made it clear how you're going against it, and you are. I want to know why, given that you've just said you're a globe believer, why are you going against the globe's rhetoric of drift, observable only from the ground? As you turn beneath things, you're talking about stuff not doing that. And I want to know why, if you think you're on a globe, then you must think Earth turns beneath. It's called Coriolis effect.
I guess my confusion is, why do you think that the Earth turning would...
I don't.
Helicopter.
I don't. You do.
That's exactly what you just called.
No, the globe claims Earth turns under helicopters, not me. Didn't I make that absolutely explicitly clear that I'm not claiming it? I'm pointing out how you are going against the globe claim. You think that's my claim, do you? No, I'm not saying that. You are going against what the globe claims will happen. Not what I claim will happen. It's nonsense. Earth doesn't turn underneath stuff for us to observe drift at 15 degrees now. That doesn't happen. And because it doesn't happen, you're explaining why it doesn't happen, when the claim is that it does, on a globe, not by me. Are we clear?
Yeah, Nathan, we're quite clear what you think we are.
So why are you going against the globe's claim that we'll see drift, Coriolis effect? You're saying stuff can go up and be stationary and explaining how and why that's the case, when that flies in the face of the claim that we'll have Coriolis effect on a turning Earth.
Nathan, why should I bother trying to answer any of your questions when you don't actually let me speak?
So I'm letting you speak.
Okay, you asked me why. And when I started talking, I asked you, what about a rotating Earth? I'm not saying you claim the Earth rotates.
Why are you asking me then? Why are you asking me what a rotating Earth does if I'm not claiming it?
See, there you go.
Yeah, because I'm not claiming it, I'm not going to be questioned on it. Are you going to tell me about how sicklesemia and anemia and all the other medical stuff I could come up with works if you're not claiming it? Obviously not, it's unreasonable. I'm not claiming that. I'm pointing out that your descriptions of things with Earth not turning beneath them goes against the claim that the globe makes that they will. Do you understand? I don't have to explain anything about what I claim about a globe Earth that turns. I don't claim it.
I understand what you think, yes.
So what is it that I think?
You think that according to what Globers claim, that a helicopter cannot take off and remain stationary over the ground.
No. That globe claims that it will drift at 15 degrees an hour. It's called Coriolis effect, and that doesn't happen. You're explaining why it doesn't happen, in spite of the globe claim that it will, even though it doesn't.
A hovering helicopter is stationary over the ground.
So not drifting at 15 degrees an hour like the globe claims then. So you're going against what the globe claims, which is drift at 15 degrees an hour then. You're saying it doesn't do that.
I'm saying a hovering helicopter doesn't move in relation to the ground.
So it's not drifting at 15 degrees an hour like the globe claims it will. Then the globe claims it will. It claims it's Coriolis deflection at 15 degrees an hour. You're going against what the globe claims. They say it'll drift at 15 degrees an hour. You're saying it won't.
Yes, that's correct, Nathan. When a helicopter hovers over a position on the ground, it's not drifting over the ground. It's by definition hovering over a point above the ground.
So Earth not being proven to be spinning with Coriolis deflection at 15 degrees an hour then. So Earth not.
No, it's incorrect.
So is that you talking straight through me, asshole? The very thing you just projected onto me a moment ago, I see. What is it that you don't like about me talking, that you need to stop me from talking? That was the thing you just literally projected onto me 3 minutes ago. Yeah, mate, you're claiming that Earth doesn't have Coriolis effect. But the globe claims it does. Both wrong. I mean, we don't see drift, and we would if Earth had Coriolis effect. You're explaining why we don't have the drift that the globe claims we will. Notice I'm not interrupting you.
Yeah, well, you're not going to allow a conversation.
That's an excellent rebuttal. Meanwhile, the globe claims we will have 15 degrees an hour drift as Earth turns beneath stuff to cause a deflection known as Coriolis effect. That's very much the globe claim. Obviously, that would involve us turning beneath stuff to see that drift. You, on the other hand, seem to be going against the globe's claim that we'll see deflection at 15 degrees an hour by describing things that don't drift, completely contradicting the globe claim that they will. And I'm wondering why, and you're just interrupting me and asking why you can't have a conversation with me. I want to know why you're going against the globe claim, and you're saying you're not, and it's just my understanding, my exemplary understanding of what the globe claims and what Coriolis is, yeah, and how you're going against that. I want to know why you're going against it. Not argue about whether or not you are, because you are. I understand how you are and have explained how you are to you.
Yeah, so I don't accept your assertion that globe earthers claim a helicopter can't hover over a point on the...
Sorry, did I make that claim on behalf of the globe earthers? Because I didn't make that as a straw man claim that you're now taking apart that I did make on behalf of the globe earthers. I said the globe claims Coriolis effect, which it does. I didn't say globers say that helicopters can't hover above a position. I didn't make that as an assertion that you make.
You're making it by proxy.
Oh, am I? It's by proxy rather than verbatim what I've actually said. Oh, by proxy, you just like to interfere with children. By proxy. I mean, you haven't actually said you like to interfere with children, but by proxy, I just assume that. Laugh it up, scumbag. I can turn you into a pedo by the same standards you've decided I've made a little straw man argument that I don't assert you make. I haven't. I've said globe will have Coriolis effect. That's Earth turning beneath stuff. And you're explaining about how helicopters can hover. That's not Earth turning beneath them to prove that we've got Coriolis effect as the globe claims. You're contradicting the globe claim.
No.
Yeah, globe claims Coriolis. That stuff drifting apart 15 degrees an hour, and you're talking about how it's not doing that? Why are you contradicting what the globe claims will happen? That's 15 degrees drift.
Yeah, I'm not contradicting it.
Yeah, you're saying things can hover and Earth won't turn beneath them. Well, Coriolis is specifically Earth turning beneath them if you assume Earth's turning, and there's Coriolis effect. It's the effect of you turning beneath something and seeing it seem to curve as it travels in a straight path, but you turn beneath it. So to have this effect that the globe Earth claims it will have, not my claim, the globe claim, the one that you tried to reposition as me saying that Earth should turn under a helicopter. Nah, the Earth is supposed to be turning under bullets and footballs and gyros and pendulums and the stars. It's called Coriolis effect. Yeah? Now you're talking about how stuff hasn't got Earth turning underneath it, and I wonder why.
Do you not know the difference between those things in a helicopter that's being piloted and navigated?
Sorry, do I understand that something piloted and navigated can negate an observation from a turning reference frame? That's not relevant. The projectile doesn't have anything to do with you turning beneath something to see it drift. Something you're describing not happening, in contradiction with the globe's claim that it will. Hello? Projectile nothing to do with you turning beneath it, my friend. Your dumbfounded silence doesn't seem to be a rebuttal to my pointing out that the projectile won't account for you turning beneath it to see not actual drift. Something the globe claims will happen. That's that you'll turn beneath stuff on a turning Earth to see it drift as you turn beneath it. That's Coriolis effect. Something that does not happen. And you seem to be going against that claim and describing how and why it doesn't happen, in contradiction with the globe claim that it will. I want to know why.
It's not in contradiction, Nathan. It's that.
So stuff not turning beneath a helicopter is the same as us seeing drift because we turn beneath a helicopter. Yeah, they're very different things. In fact, they're in complete contradiction with one another, i.e. your statement is in contradiction with the globe claim of Coriolis drift.
Okay, if you say so.
No, fact. If we're not turning beneath a helicopter, we can't see Coriolis effect as we turn beneath it to see it seem to curve because we're turning beneath it. Those two things are definitely in contradiction with one another. And further to that, your description of things not moving further away from their position beneath them is in contradiction with the globe claim that we have Coriolis effect. So you are contradicting the globe. I mean, I know this is all nonsense, because if we were turning beneath helicopters, you'd have continents coming to the helicopter as they hovered, and flights would have shortened flight times. That doesn't happen, because Earth isn't turning beneath anything. However, the globe, claims it does. It claims we've got Coriolis effect. That's us turning beneath stuff, something that observably doesn't happen.
So I got a question. If you leave the ground, does the Earth immediately start turning underneath you?
That's your claim, that the globe has Coriolis deflection. So for a man observing you jump up and down, it is claimed that you will drift at 15 degrees an hour. That's what the globe claims. I mean, it's absolutely absurd that you would see your mate drift away from you 1,000 miles an hour on the equator if he jumps up and down. But that's what's claimed to happen. It's called Coriolis effect.
According to what you think the globe says...
No, it's claimed to have Coriolis effect.
Hold on, let me finish my statement.
Your statement started with according to what you claim the globe has. And I said, no, not according to what I claim the globe has. The globe claims to have Coriolis effect. That is a fact, not what I claim the globe has.
Okay, so let me rephrase my statement. According to the globe claim, if I am standing on the Earth at the equator, and I jump up, the Earth now spins underneath me at 1,000 miles an hour.
Isn't it ridiculous how stupid the claim of Coriolis effect is? Don't you agree how stupid it is to assert that you can see things drift at 15 degrees an hour because Earth turns beneath them? It's absolutely absurd, Extremesis. I'm glad you agree.
But that's not what the globe claims.
Sorry, the globe claims Coriolis effect. That's Earth turning beneath an inertial reference frame to observe 15 degrees an hour drift as you turn beneath things.
What the globe claims is, if you're standing on the equator, on the Earth, and you jump up, you will now both be moving at 1,000 miles an hour.
That's not Coriolis effect. Coriolis is a deflection observed from a turning reference frame. So if they're both moving 1,000 miles an hour, nothing's drifting. That's not Coriolis effect. Extremists, you don't understand what Coriolis effect is. Stop
The
talking.
Coriolis
Stop
is
talking.
zero at the
Stop
equator.
talking. Extremists, you don't know what Coriolis effect is. Because if they're both moving at the same rate, neither are drifting at 15 degrees an hour. Drifting means moving apart. 15 degrees an hour is the rate that they move apart on a claim from a globe. Have you ever heard that term, 15 degrees an hour? Yeah? That's the rate they're supposed to drift apart. I haven't finished talking, extremists. The rate that's claimed by the globe that your man will drift away from you as you observe him jumping up and down, that rate of drift, not them staying together at the same speed, drifting apart at 15 degrees an hour, that's him jumping and the Earth moving beneath him at 15 degrees an hour. That's what Coriolis is, extremists. It isn't them jumping and moving at the same rate. Please step out of this conversation because you don't know what drift is if you think it means them moving the same.
Nathan.
It means drifting apart.
You're wrong. You're wrong, Nathan.
I do actually want to answer that. Nathan, at the equator, according to the globe, the Coriolis is zero. There is no Coriolis on the globe at the equator. It is zero.
Sorry, according to the globe, there's zero Coriolis effect.
Yes.
Sorry, that's absurd given that the globe claims there is a Coriolis effect.
Only above.
Sorry, you haven't addressed what I've just said. The globe does definitely claim Coriolis effect. You've said it claims zero effect at a particular location.
Would you like me to show you a source that says it is zero at the equator?
No, because Coriolis drift is deflection. So if you're going to say the globe claims Coriolis is zero, then that's not drift. Meanwhile, if there's any drift at all ever, Earth is turning beneath stuff, and it isn't.
The Coriolis is zero at the equator.
Sorry, Coriolis is drift. So it's absurd and a contradiction in terms to say the Coriolis is zero, because then that's zero Coriolis, and the globe claims there is Coriolis effect. It's an effect claimed to occur.
What do you think that means, Nathan?
It means that Earth's turning beneath stuff as a non-inertial turning reference frame. And from that non-inertial claimed to be turning reference frame as a sphere Earth, it's claimed that you, on the non-inertial turning reference frame, will observe not actual deflection of items in the inertial reference frame, not attached to the spinning reference frame. That's what Coriolis effect is. For example, it's claimed that the stars move because Earth turns beneath them. That is Coriolis effect, not actual movement of the stars because it's claimed Earth turns beneath them. The rate of that deflection, also known as Coriolis effect, is 15 degrees an hour. The rate that Earth turns beneath the stars. And the rate that Earth is claimed to turn beneath pendulums and gyros and footballs and bullets. So I assure you, it's not a man goes up and stays at the same presupposed spinning rate that he's not shedding, but simultaneously might lose it at a certain rate, extremists, because those two things also contradict one another. It's claimed you'll observe 15 degrees an hour drift because Earth turns beneath stuff not attached. That's what it is. It just doesn't happen. Because if it did, Earth would be turning beneath aeroplanes shortening their flight times when travelling west. And a flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to Los Angeles with an assist of an 800-mile-an-hour Earth turning beneath it would only take an hour and a half, not 4.5 hours. But you seem to think that the description of Earth turning beneath footballs, and Earth turning beneath bullets, and Earth turning beneath pendulums, and Earth turning beneath gyroscopes, and Earth turning beneath the stars is actually the stars and pendulums and bullets and footballs moving at the same rate as Earth? Because that definitely isn't the globe claim that they're drifting apart 15 degrees an hour, extremists. You just don't know what the globe claims. The globe claims that Earth turns beneath stuff. Of course, that would shorten flight times. You just don't understand what Coriolis is and want to get me a citation for how there's 0 of the 15 degrees an hour drift globes claim to have at the equator. You just don't understand this stuff, extremists.
So, can I talk now? Okay, I'm going to take your silence as I can talk. When I asked what does it mean, my question, I should have asked the full question. What does it mean if the globe claim says that there is 0 Coriolis at the equator, and you say the globe says there should be Coriolis at the equator?
I
What does
ask
that mean?
you. Okay, am I allowed to respond? Goes high pitched
You can
as you.
go.
Sorry, you're going to ask me what 0 effect means for the globe? Well, that was my original question, wasn't it, extremists, when I first stepped in? What does this prove exactly if there's 0 effect to observe? Did you not all make it clear to me when I first entered this conversation that that doesn't prove anything to do with the globe? So I would ask you, if this citation says there's no effect to prove globe spinning, why is it a useful citation, extremists, if it doesn't prove anything, as we established when I first entered this conversation? Why would you show it me? It doesn't prove we're spinning, does it? Does it prove that you can assume things that are spinning retain their velocity and don't have any effect to prove we're spinning? I.e., there's no effect to observe. Is that what it proves, that there's no effect to observe, extremists? Because obviously if it's not proving anything as we established when I got here, it seems like a bit of a useless citation, given that I already established that if there's no effect to observe, it's not proving anything. So may I ask why you want to show it me, given it doesn't prove we spin? Why would you want to show me that, given that it's not 15 degrees an hour drift? Why would you want to show it me when the globe claims we do have 15 degrees an hour drift? And why would you show it me, as repeated now, I already established this doesn't prove your point. In fact, it goes against it. The whole reason I'm here trying to educate you, extremists, is because you saying that there's no effect flies in the face of the 15 degrees an hour that there's claimed to be.
Okay, so the globe claim is that there's no Coriolis at the equator.
No, the globe claims Coriolis effect at 15 degrees an hour. Remember? Thanks, Bob, for proving that there is a 15 degrees an hour drift because Earth turned under the gyro. You seem to be, again, like the other guy, going against the globe claim. I thought you were a globe believer. You're contradicting the globe claim that there is drift. You remember the gyro, 15 degrees an hour of it? You seem to be saying, no, there's no effect to observe again. And asking me about why there's no effect to prove we spin? Why would you be going against the globe claim that there's drift at 15 degrees an hour, extremists? Don't you believe in the globe and its claims of 15 degrees an hour drift? Why are you explaining why there isn't any when the globe claims there is?
Can I talk now, or do you want to keep going?
You can answer my question. Why are you going to launch into an explanation about 0 drift when the claim is that there's 15 degrees an hour? Do you think the stars stop moving on the equator, extremists? Because that's the 15 degrees an hour drift that the globes claim to have. Do you think that they stop on the equator?
Do you think 15 degrees an hour...
Do you want to answer me? Do
Coriolis...
you want to answer my question? Are you scared?
Okay, I'll answer it.
Do the stars stop?
15 deg...
Do the stars stop rotating because you, in your insanity, with shortened flight times because Earth's turning beneath stuff, think that the stars stop? They're not moving 15 degrees an hour on the equator? Because that's what you seem to be wanting to get a citation for.
No.
Do the stars stop, extremists, on the equator? Because there's no deflection, according to you.
I answered you, no.
So why are you now going to get me a citation that claims that there's 0 Coriolis on the equator when I've just given you an example that the globe claims that there's 15 degrees an hour of it?
That's a good question.
Why are you going against the globe claim that there's 15 degrees an hour, guys, in the Discord server? I thought you were all globe believers. But you're arguing against the globe claim of drift at 15 degrees an hour and trying to explain to me how there's 0 of it. In spite of the embarrassing position that leaves you in extremists when I ask you if the stars have stopped. No, they haven't. They're still claimed to be drifting at 15 degrees an hour, aren't they, extremists? So do you want to carry on telling me about how they've stopped because there's none at the equator?
That's
Do you want
not
to do
what he
that?
said, Nathan. You know it. You know
So
that.
do you want me to shut you up, White Knight?
That's not what he said.
Do you want me to shut you up, White Knight? Extremis, you were about to get me a citation for how the stars are not exhibiting 15 degrees an hour of drift on the equator, weren't you?
No.
No, you were. You said it was 0 at the equator. That's what you just said 5 minutes ago. What do you mean, no? You were about to get me a citation and ask me to explain, burden of proof reversal fallacy style, why your citation says 0 Coriolis at the equator. Do you mean no, you lying shit? Don't piss me off, Extremis. You just said 0 at the equator, didn't you? Don't lie.
No.
Yes, you did, you lying shit. Excuse me, White Knights in Discord. Extremis was asking me why his citation would cite 0 Coriolis at the equator. Now I've pointed out that the stars haven't stopped because his globe's still spinning 15 degrees an hour. The thing you're all fighting against, and my point in being here, that you idiots who think you believe in a globe are fighting against the Coriolis drift by telling me how, nah, stuff don't drift on the equator, 0 Coriolis. And then you lie about it and say, no, you're not saying that. Yeah, you did, Extremis. Don't need any White Knights for you to just admit you were about to cite 0 drift at the equator. I listened.
No.
No? So what were you going to go and get me? That has 0 in the citation, 0 Coriolis, which I clarified, and you agreed you were asking me to explain why the citation would say there's 0 drift at the equator. You didn't say that. I just made it up, did I, Extremis? You lying fuck?
Yes.
No, Extremis, I didn't make it up. You absolutely were going to ask me to explain why you had a citation that said that the stars don't move at the equator. 0 Coriolis. Of course, I pointed that out with the example of the stars, and suddenly you changed your tune and started lying. Because that's what you globe believers, oh my bad, anti-flat earthers who deny the globe's claims need to do. Lie. Like Extremis has just lied about his very specific question of me about why his citation would point out 0 Coriolis. Now he's saying that wasn't what he was going to get me to justify like it's my claim. Liar. Scum. Yeah, scum? Lie some more for me, Extremis. I hope you burn in hell. So you weren't going to ask me to explain the 0 Coriolis on the equator then, Extremis. You weren't going to do that.
I was, yes.
Oh, right. Well, that would mean the stars had stopped, wouldn't it? Shit for brains.
No.
So they're not exhibiting 15 degrees an hour then? They've stopped 0 drift at the equator. Stars not moving 15 degrees an hour then? Shit for brains.
Coriolis and star drift are not the same thing.
Oh, are they not? So you don't think that the stars moving as a claim of globe Earth turning beneath them is a claim of Coriolis effect? Oh, it absolutely is. It's non-inertial and inertial turning reference frame beneath the stars that seem to drift as you turn beneath them. That is Coriolis effect, Extremis. You just don't understand how you're defying the globe claim of Coriolis because you don't know what Coriolis is. It's a claim of Earth turning beneath the stars at 15 degrees an hour to exhibit not actual deflection. You see that curved path that they're taking in the sky? That's claimed to be the globe turning beneath them. And the drift is the stars moving because the globe's claimed to turn beneath them. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson claims it also turns beneath footballs to assist field goals. Yeah, it's definitely Earth turning beneath stuff, Extremis. Of course, that would shorten flight times if planes took off the ground and Earth turned beneath them. And it would have your man on the equator jumping up and down and you observing him drift away 1,000 miles an hour. I mean, I just still don't understand why you guys are talking about stuff not drifting, given that you think you're globe believers. You're not. You definitely don't believe what the globe peddles, and you don't even understand what the globe peddles. It says Coriolis effect. You just don't believe it, do you, lads? You think stuff doesn't drift, right? 0 at the equator. I mean, obviously you'll lie about it later when the stars aren't moving as a result of that stupid nonsense. Won't you, Extremis? You'll just lie.
No,
So is the zero drift at the equator, like you were asking me to explain in your citation, or are the stars moving at 15 degrees now? That's Coriolis effect, something you've just claimed it isn't.
Entertaining myself.
both.
Yeah, that's a very concise rebuttal. Thank you, Extremesis. Are you done here?
Zero drift at the equator and
So the stars aren't moving then?
degrees an hour.
So the stars aren't moving.
You didn't let me. Zero drift.
So that means the stars aren't moving then, you stupid retard? Because that's the 15 degrees an hour drift. The stars moving. If there's zero at the equator, then according to you, the stars aren't moving. How my
according to the
fucking
globe
balls
model.
taste, you stupid lying retard.
Hey, Nathan, you're an expert on Coriolis, right?
Shut up. Who's this fucking dumb motherfucker, White Knight? Shut your stupid mouth. I'm talking to Extremesis, the lying bastard. White Knights who need muting? Extremesis, you're a lying cunt. You're claiming zero again after denying that that's what you were claiming. So you've lied about claiming it when I pointed out the stars would be stationary. Now you've moved back on to claiming it again, asking me about the zero drift on the equator. That would mean the stars had stopped. You stupid idiot.
Can I go now?
What, without the White Knight assistance of the other people realising how fucked you are? Yeah, go ahead. The stars would have stopped, Extremesis, if there's no drift at the equator. Globe Earth's claim to turn beneath them to cause a Coriolis deflection of the stars at 15 degrees an hour. Now, if you don't understand that that is Coriolis in the globe claim, and how that would shorten flight times, if we're turning underneath the stars, and gyros, and pendulums, and bullets, and balls, yeah, that'll shorten flight times. That's why you want to tell me all about how it ain't happening. Of course, the globe claims it is, Extremesis.
The globe claims zero Coriolis.
No, it claims the Earth's turning underneath the stars to cause a 15 degrees an hour deflection in them. Yeah, that's the non-inertial and inertial turning reference frame that you'd observe the stars seeming to drift when you're actually turning beneath them. That's Coriolis effect. The globe does not claim zero Coriolis effect. You're just stupid. Now, if we have Coriolis effect, which is Earth turning beneath stuff, we've got shortened flight times. And we've got hot air balloons with different continents coming towards them, which is why you need to explain why it doesn't happen, because it doesn't. The globe claimed that it does. The globe claims we have Coriolis effect, that's Earth turning beneath stuff. That doesn't happen.
I will repeat. Zero Coriolis at the equator, and the stars move at 15 degrees an hour.
But those two things are in complete contradiction with one another.
And yet somehow that's what the globe claims.
Sorry, the globe claims there's 15 degrees an hour drift. That's Coriolis effect. It doesn't claim there isn't any. It's just if there is Coriolis, we're turning beneath stuff to see it seem to drift. So we're turning beneath aeroplanes to see him drift, and that shortens flight times. So anti-flat earthers then explain that there isn't any drift, not the globe. You seem to be mistaking your stupid shit with the globe's claims, Extremesis. You idiots here in Discord claim conservation of angular momentum. That's not the globe. The globe has very specific priests who make it absolutely clear that there's supposed to be Coriolis effect. They don't say there isn't any. That's you dumb shits. You're not the globe. Understand that, Extremesis? You claiming that there isn't any is you being a dumb fuck idiot that doesn't understand what the globe claims and simultaneously defying what it claims. So no, the globe doesn't claim both drift and no drift. You do that, you dumb shit.
Is there a direction to the deviation? Let me ask that.
What deviation would that be? Would that be the zero deviation, the no drift on the equator?
If there is deviation, is
There
there a
isn't,
direction?
Extremesis. If there was, it would shorten flight time. So why are you now talking about if there is? There isn't.
Because Coriolis is what spins the equator, spins
Right.
hurricanes.
No. Coriolis are not actual drift. It's an illusion observed from a turning reference frame. Again, you don't know what Coriolis is, Extremesis. It's an illusion. It's not causing anything.
Okay, I'll stick to my original point.
which was that helicopters go up and hover and therefore we don't see the globe's claim of 15 degrees an hour drift. Yeah, that was where I stepped in and asked, why are you defying the globe's claim of Coriolis effect at 15 degrees an hour? So what, you're going to step away with your original doublespeak that you're now asking me about, how the quote-unquote globe both claims we have and have not got drift? No, that's wrong. The globe claims we do have drift. You claim we don't. And I asked why you claim we don't with your descriptions of things hovering, not drifting. Yeah, not the globe claiming both, you. I asked why you defied the globe's claim that we will have drift. That's what I asked. Still haven't got an answer. You've just asked me to explain why the globe claims both. It doesn't. That was my point. It claims 15 degrees an hour drift like the stars that you think are stationary when you say there's none. You understand now? You're defying the globe's claim that there is drift when you say there isn't any. I still want to know why that's the case, though, you fundamentally idiotic idiots. Why would you do that? The globe claims drift and you're saying there isn't any, and explaining why there isn't any, and asking me to explain why you've got citations that say there isn't any. Why would you do that? That's what I want to know.
Because you don't understand.
Sorry, I don't understand what?
You don't understand the globe claim.
I don't understand the glite. What? Stuttering wanker?
You don't
I do fucking understand, you stupid cunt. I understand that the globe claims there's drift and you're asking me why there's none. So you're contradicting the globe, stupid cunt. How dare you tell me I don't understand? You stupid motherfucker. You thought that drift was accountable by the projectile, you dumb fuck. You thought that there was zero at the equator when the stars move at 15 degrees an hour, you dumb cunt. How dare you tell me I don't understand extremis, you stupid motherfucker. You don't understand, dumb fuck retard.
So, if I have citations that say both things are true, according to the globe model, does that mean you understand or don't understand the globe model?
What, understand the contradiction the globe's presenting in that instance? Are you asking me if I understand how fucked up and ridiculous it is to claim both drift and no drift? A violation of the law of non-contradiction? You're going to ask me to explain how your stupid fucked up religion has got a complete contradiction in it? You're going to ask me to explain that, are you?
See, that's your fundamental mistake, Nathan.
But you've asked me to explain why your citation both claims drift and claims no drift. Number one, I don't make this stupid batshit insane claim that Earth turns beneath stuff to cause drift. I also don't simultaneously contradict my non-claim of Earth turning beneath stuff. I don't make that claim to contradict it by saying it ain't happening. So why on unholy fuck would I explain why your citation contradicts itself? Why wouldn't you just appreciate how wrong it is that the globe claims there's drift when there isn't, and they even contradict themselves in their own citations? Why wouldn't you ask yourself that?
Extremist. In the Christian religion, if you ask Jesus for forgiveness, you go.
Sorry, why wouldn't you ask yourself that, extremis? Why wouldn't you assess the contradiction?
Because there is none.
Sorry, claiming that there is drift, that's Earth turning beneath stuff to cause not actual deflection at 15 degrees an hour, something I do understand, you fucking cunt. And there being no drift to observe, those two things are in stark contrast. So there is a contradiction if your citation, as you asked me to explain, why it claims both. If you're so stupid that you don't understand a contradiction, maybe I can explain what a contradiction is.
That is your mistake. I said it earlier. There's your mistake.
Oh, wow, how concisely detailed you are in detailing my mistake I made and you explained earlier. What mistake?
Because Coriolis and drift are not the same thing.
Not actual drift observed from a not actual rotating reference frame. That is drift. Not actual drift. Deflection. The 15 degrees an hour drift, that's what it is. That is Coriolis effect. The not actual drift observed as you rotate beneath things.
No, it's not.
Citation.
That drift is not Coriolis.
Sorry, citation for Coriolis effect, please.
It's the pattern of deflection.
Is this a citation?
Yes, Coriolis is the pattern of deflection.
Sorry, where's the citation
of space.
posted? So I want to read it. Where is it? What's it from?
Hold on.
So what do you mean, hold on? You're about to tell me, you just told me, are you a liar? You just said it was a citation, so I've got one in front of me. It's from Wikipedia, which I'm going to read out now. You can go and read it. It's under...
Go ahead.
I don't want to know. Now I've asked you, there's a stony silence after you said, yeah, I've got a citation and started talking. You haven't. You've asked me to wait while you go and look it up. Now, I have got one in front of me. It's from Wikipedia. In the inertial frame of reference, upper part of the picture, the black ball moves in a straight line. However, the observer, red dot, who is standing in the rotating non-inertial frame of reference, lower part of the picture, sees the object following a curved path due to the Coriolis and centrifugal forces present in the frame. Pretty clear. I absolutely, without question, understand what Coriolis effect is. It's not actual deflection observed as you rotate beneath things. And I quote, the observer who is standing in the rotating non-inertial frame of reference.
Okay.
Like, you just said it wasn't that. And then you were going to go and get a citation.
And Coriolis and 15 degrees an hour are not the same.
Sorry, is this a citation?
Is that from the National Geographic Society website?
Excuse me, talking to somebody else.
The one that I posted in the chat, yes.
Sorry, Nathan, I just want to make sure. Yeah, because in that article that he's citing, it does further on call it what you're calling it. This apparent deflection is the Coriolis effect. Apparent deflection.
So you were saying?
Okay. I don't have a problem.
So you were
with
wrong.
that.
So what do you mean, okay? So you were wrong. Even your own citation backs me then. Not actual drift observed as you turn beneath things. That's what the globe claims. That's what Coriolis is. You just don't understand it. You were wrong and got a citation that proved me right. So yeah, that's what the globe claims. It's just still the case, extremists, that you're fighting against the claim that Earth has Coriolis effect observable. That would be you seeing things seem to drift as you turn beneath them. As defined. By me, not you.
Can the Coriolis be measured?
What Coriolis would that be?
If it existed, could it be measured?
Sorry, the not actual deflection observed as a ball gets tossed in a straight line over the top of a roundabout you're sat on observing it seem to curve. Yeah, you can definitely detail Coriolis effect. It just doesn't happen on a turning Earth. A la the roundabout with you turning beneath a ball travelling in a straight path, appearing to curve because you turn beneath it on a roundabout, you'd have to be turning beneath stuff on a turning Earth. Something you're fighting against, extremists, and telling me all about how that doesn't happen, and asking me to explain your double-speak citations that say we both have 15 degrees an hour drift and the zero of it stationary stars at the equator. You're asking me to explain that.
So the globe claim is that there is zero Coriolis at the equator and...
So stationary stars at the equator is the globe claim. No, that's just your fuckwittery you've made up. That's not what the globe claims. The globe claims 15 degrees an hour drift, the stars moving at 15 degrees an hour, including but not limited to their claim of the drift at the equator. In fact, it's claimed to happen everywhere. There is nowhere it won't be happening because it's claimed to be an all-encompassing, never-to-be-defied effect of Earth turning beneath stuff. Earth is claimed to be turning beneath stuff to cause Coriolis effect. The globe does not claim no Coriolis effect. That's your claim. That I'm asking why you're defying the globe's claim that we have Coriolis effect. That's what I'm asking you. You keep asserting that the globe claims no drift. Bollocks, mate. It claims 15 degrees an hour of it. You're just fucking thick.
No. I'm asserting there's no Coriolis.
Well, then Earth's not turning because the globe claims that there is.
The Coriolis is zero at the equator.
So there's no Coriolis effect at the equator. So Earth's not being proven to spin with 15 degrees an hour drift observable from the equator of the stars moving. Because according to this guy, if he now begs the question that Earth's still turning, there's just no drift at the equator, that would mean the stars have stopped. Absolutely stupid. Definitely not a globe claim. Just you being a fucking retard. The globe isn't claiming the stars stop on the equator. They claim there's 15 degrees an hour drift as Earth turns beneath those stars. You fucking retard. Of course, that would mean there's 2 reference frames and Earth turns beneath helicopters and aeroplanes and bullets and footballs and gyros and pendulums and the stars. Of course, that doesn't happen. The consequence is shortened flight times. That's something I'll point out. But you will simultaneously argue that the globe claims there's no drift at the equator. You're just fucking wrong. You're just defying what the globe does claim, you stupid fucking idiot. The globe claims there's 15 degrees an hour of drift at the equator. That's what you observe the stars moving from. The turning reference frame of the Earth to observe the Coriolis effect in the stars that you're now denying, you stupid idiot. Why are you denying that the globe claims there's 15 degrees an hour Coriolis effect observable in the stars from the equator? You fucking retard who's in defiance of the globe claims that there's 15 degrees an hour Coriolis observable in the stars from the equator. You're defying that. Why?
Can you repeat what I say in terms of, if I say there's no Coriolis, why do you keep saying I'm saying there's no drift?
But because Coriolis is drift. Deflection. You seeing something seem to curve as you turn beneath it. That's what drift is. So if I toss a ball over the top of a roundabout and don't see it drifting, then you're violating many laws because it's actually moving straight and you're seeing it seem to do a different path because you're turning beneath it. So for you to say, there's no effect to observe, well, then you're not turning beneath anything. So when you ask me why we have no effect at the equator, because Earth's not turning. If it was, we'd observe the Coriolis effect as the globe claims we will. For example, the stars moving. But you, the batshit insane anti-flat earther, who doesn't agree with the globe and its claim of Coriolis, in fact denies that even is Coriolis, because you don't know what Coriolis is, you say there's 0 of it on the equator. Yeah, they claim that the stars are moving at 15 degrees an hour because the Earth's turning beneath them. That's Coriolis effect that you're now denying. Again, I'd like to know why you're denying that claim the globe makes.
I think I'm done with this conversation now.
I want to know why you're denying the globe's claim of Coriolis effect. It was the first question I asked when I still haven't got an answer. You are denying drift at 15 degrees now. You're still doing it. You've just literally in the last 2 minutes asked me why there's 0 of it at the equator. Why are you denying the globe's claim of 15 degrees an hour drift? Is it because it was short flight times?
The globe does not claim what you say it claims.
Oh, what do I say it claims? I'm not making claims for the globe. The globe claims Coriolis effect. Is anybody here under the misapprehension that the globe doesn't claim Coriolis effect? That would be a non-inertial turning reference frame like a roundabout turning beneath a ball that's moving straight for you to see it drift from the turning reference frame. That's Coriolis effect. That's what the globe's claiming. You're telling me that that's not what the globe's claiming? Yeah, it is. You're just wrong. And yeah, you don't understand what Coriolis is.
Conversation now. I've proven my point that you don't understand Coriolis.
Oh, I've proved your point that you're a fucking cunt. That when I describe not actual deflection observed from a non-inertial turning reference frame and cite it, and then use your citation for the not actual deflection in your citation against you, I absolutely know what Coriolis effect is. You're just an asshole who's decided that because you've been annihilated that you're going to tell me I don't understand. That makes you a cunt. Okay, cunt? Yeah, do understand. You are just contradicting the globe claim. Doesn't mean I don't understand, it means you're contradicting the globe claim. So why are you contradicting the globe claim of 15 degrees an hour drift, Extremesis? I'll tell you why. Because if we had Coriolis drift, like the globe claims, then Earth's turning beneath things. And that would shorten flight times, an effect we don't observe happening. That's why you are denying the globe claim. Because if it happened, we'd notice. And we don't. So you deny it. You're not a globe believer, Extremesis. I want to make that absolutely clear to you. You don't believe what the globe believes. That's drift. You'll not only deny that there's drift, you'll also simultaneously claim there's Coriolis at 0, a contradiction in terms, and then tell me, like the arrogant fuck that you are, that I don't understand this stuff. Yeah, I do.